The plane soared through the clear blue sky, carrying its passengers towards their respective destinations. Among them, a woman named Emily sat in her seat, her heart pounding with a mixture of anxiety and regret, as she had just realized she had forgotten something of utmost importance, something she couldn't bear to be without. Her mind raced as panic settled in, compelling her to take a drastic step. So, summoning up all her courage, Emily pressed the flight attendant call button, desperately needing the pilot's attention. As the cabin crew member approached, Emily's voice trembled as she made her request. "Excuse me, ma'am, can I help you with something?" the flight attendant asked, concern etched across her face. Emily's voice quivered with guilt as she replied, "I need to speak to the pilot immediately. It's urgent." Recognizing the urgency in Emily's voice, the flight attendant nodded and hurried to the cockpit to relay the message. Minutes later, the plane began its gentle turn, altering its course to head back to its departure point. The other passengers exchanged puzzled glances, wondering what could have prompted such an unexpected change in direction. As the plane completed its turn, Emily's face turned pale, her mind filled with a chilling realization. But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. How could she have forgotten something so precious? Her hands trembled as she clutched the seat in front of her, overcome by the gravity of her mistake. The pilot's voice crackled through the speakers, breaking the tense silence inside the cabin. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have made a slight alteration to our flight plan at the request of one of our passengers. We apologize for any inconvenience caused." Emily's heart raced as she impatiently waited for the plane to touch down. She couldn't bear the thought of leaving behind what she had carelessly forgotten, a bond she cherished with all her being. The aircraft landed with a gentle thud, and Emily, filled with trepidation, quickly disembarked. She sprinted through the airport terminal, her anxiety mounting with each passing second. Finally, she reached the security checkpoint and her eyes frantically searched the area. There, amidst the bustling crowd, she spotted a familiar face, a young woman holding a baby, her eyes filled with confusion. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she approached the woman, her voice choked with emotion. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot my baby on the plane. I can't believe what I've done." The young woman's expression shifted from confusion to relief, and she nodded understandingly. "I'm just glad you realized in time. Your baby is safe and sound with the flight crew. They took good care of him." Emily's heart swelled with gratitude and relief. She embraced her baby tightly, vowing to never let go again. As she turned to leave, the young woman placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We all make mistakes," she said softly. "What matters is that we learn from them and cherish the ones we love with a renewed sense of purpose." Emily thanked the woman and made her way back to the plane. As she settled into her seat once more, the weight of her forgetfulness now transformed into a lesson etched into her soul, that she would forever treasure the precious bond she shared with her child, never taking it for granted again. But as the plane resumed its journey, Emily couldn't shake off the unease that gnawed at her. The relief of holding her baby in her arms was overshadowed by a haunting realization. Her forgetfulness was unlike her, almost as if an unseen force had clouded her mind. She had always been meticulous, especially when it came to her baby. The eerie feeling lingered, a whisper at the back of her mind that something was amiss. Days later, back in the comfort of her home, Emily's life returned to its routine, but the incident on the plane left a lingering shadow. She couldn't help but question her own sanity. Had she really forgotten her baby, or was there something more sinister at play? Emily decided to revisit the events leading up to the flight. She meticulously retraced her steps, from the early morning rush to the drive to the airport. Look, everything seemed normal, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. One evening, as Emily was putting her baby to bed, she noticed something unusual. Tucked away in the corner of the nursery was a small, antique mirror she had recently inherited from her grandmother. It was an ornate piece, its surface slightly tarnished with age. Emily hadn't paid much attention to it before, but now it seemed to draw her in, almost beckoning her to take a closer look. As she peered into the mirror, a strange sensation washed over her. An LED reflection seemed to shimmer, and for a brief moment, she saw something she couldn't quite explain. A shadowy figure, barely perceptible, standing behind her. Emily spun around, but the room was empty. Her heart pounded in her chest as she stared back at the mirror, now just a normal piece of glass. Disturbed, Emily decided to store the mirror away. She wrapped it carefully and placed it in the attic, hoping to rid herself of the unsettling feelings it provoked. But the sense of unease persisted, growing stronger with each passing day. Emily's nights became restless, plagued by vivid nightmares. She would awaken drenched in sweat, the images of her dreams fading quickly but leaving behind a residue of dread. In her dreams, she was back on the plane, searching for her baby, but the corridors twisted and turned, leading her deeper into darkness. She could hear a faint, eerie lullaby growing louder and more dissonant with each step. Determined to uncover the truth, Emily sought the help of a local historian who specialized in antiques. She brought him the mirror, hoping he could shed some light on its origins. The historian, an elderly man with a keen eye, examined the mirror with great interest. "This mirror has a dark history," he said, his voice heavy with foreboding. It belonged to a woman named Eliza Thornwood, who was believed to be a witch in the late 19th century. She was accused of using dark magic and was eventually executed. Legend has it that she cursed this mirror with her dying breath, vowing to torment anyone who possessed it. Emily's blood ran cold. The historian continued, "It said that the mirror has the power to cloud the mind, making the owner forget things of great importance. It feeds on fear and anxiety, drawing strength from the owner's distress." The pieces of the puzzle fell into place. Emily's inexplicable forgetfulness, the eerie presence she felt, it all made sense now. The mirror had indeed clouded her mind, making her forget her baby on the plane. The realization filled her with a renewed sense of urgency. How do I break the curse?" Emily asked, desperation creeping into her voice. The historian sighed. "Curses like these are difficult to break, but there might be a way. You need to confront the spirit of Eliza Thornwood and seek her forgiveness. Only then can the curse be lifted." Emily felt a chill run down her spine. Confronting a vengeful spirit was not something she had ever imagined doing, but for the sake of her baby, she knew she had no choice. The historian provided her with a list of items she would need: a candle, a sprig of rosemary, and a small vial of holy water. That night, after putting her baby to bed, Emily prepared for the ritual. She followed the historian's instructions meticulously, lighting the candle and placing the rosemary next to it. She sprinkled the holy water on the mirror, her hands trembling. As she gazed into the mirror, she could feel a palpable tension in the air. Then the reflection shimmered once again, and the shadowy figure appeared clearer this time. Emily took a deep breath, summoning all her courage. "Eliza Thornwood," she called out, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. "I seek your forgiveness. I didn't know about the curse. Please release me and my baby from your torment." The figure in the mirror remained silent, but the air around Emily seemed to grow colder. She could hear a faint whisper, almost too soft to discern. She closed her eyes, focusing on the words. "You are forgiven," the whisper echoed, sending a shiver down her spine. When Emily opened her eyes, the shadowy figure was gone and the mirror's surface returned to its normal state. The room felt lighter, the oppressive weight lifted. She knew the curse had been broken. Relief washed over her as she collapsed onto the floor, tears streaming down her face. The ordeal had been harrowing, but she had succeeded. The bond with her baby was safe and the haunting presence that had plagued her was gone. In the days that followed, Emily's life slowly returned to normal. The nightmares ceased, his presence and the eerie feelings vanished. She made sure to dispose of the mirror, burying it deep in the ground far away from her home. Emily never spoke of the experience to anyone, but the lesson remained etched in her heart. She had confronted her deepest fears and emerged stronger. The bond she shared with her baby was now even more precious, a testament to the love that had guided her through the darkest of times. As the plane resumed its journey that fateful day, Emily had no idea of the ordeal that awaited her. But in the end, love had prevailed, guiding her home and teaching her the true power of forgiveness and resilience.